Good evening. That one right there.
Good.
Like where you're at, right?
I was gonna say,
I should make a change on the.
whatever Greenwich Mean Time is.
All right. Have you looked at these two real quick? On the agenda for next meeting, next Monday.
For the council.
That first was showing that on-call thing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You ready to get her on, or did you already start? All right. If we're all ready to go here, guys, let's start with the roll call.
All right, President Kevin Smith.
Present.
Vice President Estel George.
Present.
Secretary Jeff Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Bob Bridman.
Here.
Commissioner Matt McAleer. Absent.
Okay. Everybody take a minute and review the minutes from last meeting. Have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Josh, can you go through the claims for us real quick?
Okay. Here we have 10 claims. Some of them are just split up between different accounts, but I'll go through them here real quick. First up, we have a claim from Commonwealth for $1,750 that's towards the designing of the 7th Street improvements. See, we have two claims on here for the appraisals, one for $1,000, one for $1,100 for the Collins Street cleaners. The fourth claim was $145,000, which will be on the agenda here later, that we pre-approved for the sewer improvements or the sewer repair on Melville Street.
Okay.
Then in April, we had an additional 6 claims. One of these that kind of go together here. Another $5,300 for the design on 7th Street improvements. Bose McKinney Evans is helping us with legal work on our as we pursue the joint tip area with the county. Then we had 3 claims here for the one of them I think got listed twice. Yeah, just 2 claims for the $25,000. Or sorry, no, there was 2. There was $50,000 that was granted to the school for the projects out of both Whitner and the Drexel Fund. And then the last claim we have on there for $4,300 is from SME, and that was for the all the lab reports that were done on the environmental borings. So that came to a total of $211,753.79.
Make a motion to approve the claims. I'll second that.
You need to sign this now or sign it at the end?
She'll have one for you. Want to take a vote on it?
Okay.
Want to take a vote on approving?
Oh, we need to, sorry. Can we have a vote to approve the claims? All in favor? Aye. Okay, old business. So, Superintendent Black, you want to come up and tell us about our long list of things here it looks like we've got from you?
Sure can.
The Brick Street Improvement Project, all the punch list items have been addressed on that project. They came back and reworked the intersection and addressed the crosswalk. The final pay app is to be submitted through the council at the next meeting, which will be the 14th. And then that'll be closing up here pretty soon. Any questions on that?
I don't think I have anything.
Perfect. As you guys just approved, the 7th Street, those claims are starting to roll in. The survey's been done. We're still on track to begin that in June. So hopefully Mother Nature cooperates and we can continue that schedule. Josh, you got the survey on all that, so right?
Yeah.
Any questions, concerns on the 7th Street?
How long did we think that was going to take to complete that?
Utility-wise, we should be able to get that in 6 weeks, 2 months, somewhere in there, with hopes to get it paved before the asphalt plant shut down this fall. So,
Okay. All right, very good.
as long as the soils and everything cooperate, we get good compaction, we should be able to do that. And then the I-65 gas extension, we opened bids at the March 24th council meeting. The county just approved moving forward with Gatlin. They were the low bidder at $3.75 million. That also goes before council for their approval, pending that we get all the easements secured, and with hopes that that's going to start here yet this summer as well. And other than that, unless you guys have any further questions.
I don't know, we're gonna be up next. You wanna talk about Melville Street, because they're gonna probably have questions.
Yeah, we want to jump to that.
Yeah, just go ahead, the other thing.
Melville had a little bit of a hang up with the railroad. We got all that figured out. They started the bore and jack today. They anticipate that the bore and jack will be done here by the end of the day Wednesday, and then maybe a week or so of gravity pipe installation, open cut work. So hopefully right around Easter that'll be wrapped up. And then we'll have to get in there and get it all repaved and concrete work and whatnot. But
So what was the whole story that there was a pipe that collapsed on us?
there's a 24-inch budded clay sewer that runs basically from Merritt Street all the way to the Iroquois River along Melville. And we just had it all cleaned and televised last summer in preparation for sewer lining that whole section, because we've had 4 or 5 spots between Merritt and Angelica that we've had sinkholes open up on us, and we've done those point repairs. Well, it decided to sinkhole right in the middle of the railroad tracks, so complete blockage. We tried for hours trying to get it opened up and couldn't even get a camera up there to see what it was that was going on. So we set up bypass pumping and been bypassing it since February 7th. So hopes to get it done and get it behind us. So.
Yeah, hopefully we get that one.
And then still move forward with lining the rest of it here.
Okay.
And that project will go out for bid here at the end of the month, with opening the bids at the end of May. So that work should be kicking off yet this year as well.
Very good.
You say lining it.
They'll come in with
Put a
a,
sleeve inside the existing pipe?
yeah, they come in with like a polymer, and then it's basically like an inverted sock. They use air, they'll blow it in, heat cure it, and then they'll send a robot in and cut all the sewer laterals back out afterwards. And it's pretty much just a PVC grade on the inside when it's all cured.
And so after that, not as much of a chance of collapse or anything after they do that, but.
Correct. And that'll address the inflow and infiltration of groundwater in that as well. With budded tile, you go down there where we're bypassing, and that manhole still today is about that far from the top with the amount of groundwater that gets into it.
Okay.
That's one of our largest contributing CSOs at the Iroquois River there. Thank you,
Any
gentlemen.
questions? Thank you. Okay. We are on to new business here. Superintendent Paul, you want to come up and talk to
Thank you for hearing me this evening. I've had a busy few months since I started at the parks in August. I'm looking to make our parks more accessible to all of our patrons and to make some improvements in some of our facilities that drastically need it. I want to talk a little bit about park usage data to kind of give you a feel for the patrons that are using Brookside Park especially, because that's the facility I want to focus on. So when we talk about our summer camps that are held at Brookside Park, those generate about 1,100 park visits annually. Some of those people that come to multiple camps, so it's, I'm counting the same people twice, but I'm looking at park visits. When we talk about our movie nights, visits with Santa, our mini festivals, those generate about 800 park visits annually. Typically, we host about 6 weekend tournaments at Lacker Fields. The range that I've seen so far is anywhere from 3 teams to 28 teams. So you can do the math on, how many people those are bringing in. When you look at LaRue Memorial Pool in 2024, we had 2,795 total pool visits. Disc golf, we had 302 different individuals that used the UDisc app to log their round. That doesn't mean only 302 people played. That just means that 302 people logged their scores in that app. With 2024, we had 192 participants in youth baseball and 84 participants in adult softball. So those numbers give you an idea that we have some high usage in our parks. And again, I don't have data that can show just everybody who goes to the parks. These are just the things we can count. So what I'd like to do is increase our park usage. And what I want to do, again, is make our parks more accessible and start to become more ADA compliant. So the restrooms that are used most often at Brookside Park are the ones that are at the south end, down by Hall Shelter, by Gifford Shelter, and they are in some desperate need of some upgrades. I have some pictures for you that I think will kind of help you see what I'm talking about a little bit. I have some, on one side is let me take one and pass it down. On one side is what we currently have, and on the other side of the photo is what I'd like to do. So we have facilities right now. When you look at the photos, you can see that they're kind of homemade stalls. These are not compliant with ADA. They have pretty major issues, having experienced, having lots of campers out at the parks. I can tell you that our little ones get locked in these stalls. Our camp helpers get locked in these stalls. So I am guessing that this is an issue just not for the people that are utilizing these restrooms at the camps, but others are having issues with them as well. So what I would like to do is reconfigure our stalls and put in the commercial grade partitions so that we're ADA compliant, and to give it a better look and to provide a facility that people don't get locked in. You can see we have some issues with you can see the floor is wet. We've been addressing those plumbing issues in the last few days. So I'm not asking for any assistance with that, but I am asking for financial assistance from this body to help to put in the commercial grade partitions, to refurbish the flooring with an epoxy coating, and also to assist with the purchase of some new toilets and sinks and fixtures that would bring these restrooms up to par. So some of the work will be done in-house, and other parts of the work I'm going to have to utilize some professionals to get the job done.
I noticed in this picture, Heather, there's the sinks are there, but on the before, but not them yet.
Yeah, we were just kind of showing you the floor. We didn't put the new sinks in there for you, Estelle. But it just kind of gives you an idea of what it could look like if we made some changes.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I get a lot of feedback about our restrooms. People would like to see improvements. And I can't even imagine the usage that these are going to have once our 4 new pickleball courts are finished.
Are those open all the time?
Well, Jeff, it's been kind of an experiment, to be honest. We typically keep them open in the busy season, open them up at about 7:30 a.m. and lock them up about 7 p.m. at night, typically, once things get going. Right now, they're not open all those hours because we're doing some repairs in them. So that's what I'd like to do, is have them open 24/7.
Are they cleaned daily then?
They're cleaned daily, yes. They're cleaned daily. And that's how we start our day, is cleaning the restrooms, picking up the trash once. Yeah. Yeah, it's an adventure.
what are we talking about dollar-wise?
I'm talking about around $14,000 if you add up the quotes. And I did email them to you, but I have paper copies of that as well if you'd like these. The quotes that I've given to you total $13,710.98. So I'm not asking for the paint or the wall coverings or any of those things. I'm asking you guys just for the floor, the partitions, and to get the plumbing work done that needs to happen with the new fixtures and the labor for that. And again, some of that will be done in-house with my staff.
You said you did have those quotes, I guess
I do, yep.
I missed those.
Here, I have all in the packet for,
It was, okay, I was gonna say, I thought I saw one over here, but maybe not.
there they are.
I wasn't there.
So the flooring quote came in at about $4,000 to do the epoxy coating. The plumbing and the purchase of the new fixtures is about $2,000, and then the remainder of that is for the partitions. So like I said, we'll reconfigure the way that the stalls are set up right now so that we're ADA compliant and having the appropriate space. And we're actually talking about shifting the ADA accessible stall in each restroom to closest to the door to make access a little bit easier too. Just kind of thinking through what we have and how can we do a little bit better to make it easier for people to get in.
So if we're doing something like this in a public building, do we have to have some kind of a drawing on that? I guess that's more geared towards Josh. Do we need to have some kind of a plan in place?
Probably technically, if you read the code to the letter, we probably should maybe have something just to confirm. I have it in there. I don't know if or do you think we'd have, Jeff, do you think we'd have to move any stall or like drain location?
Not plan on moving any toilets,
Okay.
just getting rid of, I believe, of one toilet
One.
on one side, which will open it up then, allow for a bigger stall. So
Okay.
there's no major change being made. I think we're just trying to raise the bar a little bit. In my opinion, I think there's an extra.
I would say probably not, we're not creating any corridors with these partitions or anything like that, and they're not load bearing, so we should be fine with what we're doing, so.
We're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
Put new tread on it. Mr. President, I would like to. address the board.
Absolutely.
So in addition to this, I would like to say that I don't think that we've been a good steward of our parks over the last several years. And in general, the condition of the parks has really gone down. As far as buildings, roofs, Heather's already done a few roofs this year. If you approve this, I would like to ask the board if I could, if you also approve a new roof for this building. When that building was redone just a few years ago, they did the outside, it looks very nice, but they didn't do the roof. And it's rusting down the side of a nice new building. So that's my request. I think that would be about $5,000 to have that, something nice put on there so that the rest of the building doesn't just continue to go to pot.
It sounds like this is gonna be a project, that this is a one building and we're probably gonna move to another one again here down the road.
I think we would like to
Keep moving
just
forward.
keep moving forward and bring the standard up
Yep.
across all the parks. Make it, I mean, it's a quality of life issue for our residents, our visitors. When people come into our community, if they're looking to, say move here or something, they're going to consider the state of not just the parks, but that's one aspect of it.
Oh, I'm just thinking on that north end of the park, just that bathroom there. I know it's newer. I don't know how it is as far as ADA compliance, but with baseball tournaments and everything coming in and that being kind of the main end for that, that's probably an important one to look at it too, as well.
That one probably maybe needs to be started completely over.
Okay.
That would be my guess. It's very small.
And it has some major plumbing issues.
a couple of these buildings around that I've been in recently, like, for example, the one at Foundation Park at, what's the name of that field?
Staden.
Staden Field. I'm not sure, it's like it was a kit building or something maybe. It's a metal frame right on the concrete. And so on the inside, you can see that it's rusting, just, it's not a weather tight situation, and you have metal right up against concrete, so it's going to corrode. So yeah, this is a problem all the way around. But if we could get one really nice, and that's our flagship park. That's probably the bathroom that gets used the most outside of maybe Blacker during tournaments.
Yeah. And I have to say, I just think we could do better for our community than what we're offering as far as this restroom is concerned. Some folks who are working on the project at Wheatfield with their park wanted to come over and see our restroom.
Oh.
I wasn't proud to show them.
No.
And we should be proud of our facilities and want people to see what we have. And I didn't feel that way when I invited our guests in to see this restroom.
Thank you.
We ran this by the city council.
No,
Is there not a budget for the parks?
there
in the
is.
city?
There is. But we're looking at, like I was kind of alluding to, a lot of improvements, repairs needed kind of as soon as I hit the ground running, to be honest. So I'm looking for some other funding sources to support some of these projects that need to be done.
No, there's a big project coming up, that swimming pool one of these days.
Yeah. So we've begun the process of developing a comprehensive plan. Actually, we had the kickoff meeting for that a couple weeks ago, so we're starting that process, but that's going to take quite a while. But in the meantime, we have these facilities that really need some attention, drastic attention.
Is there much vandalism with these?
Sometimes it seems like they like to target Columbia Park for vandalism a lot. The most common type of vandalism I see at Brookside Park is they like to write on the picnic tables.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For whatever reason.
Got it.
Do you have other questions for me?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll make a note on,
I
think
agree with Jeff's saying, I think it's a quality of life thing for the community, and I've noticed, Stacy and I use the parks relatively often in the summertime, and I would say that there's definitely I think there's an uptick in usage, especially with some of the new facilities that have been put in. The thing I'd like to see kind of go along with this whole plan, and it sounds like maybe you're addressing it, is the improvements that we've already made in the last 5 or 10 years. I'd like to make sure we're maintaining those. You mentioned Blacker Field, and I think that's a huge draw, but if we let it start looking like a goat pasture, how long are you going to continue to draw people? So I think if we're going to spend the money to build those facilities, we need to spend the money to take care of them. But I would be in favor of funding this.
what do we feel about the roof end of that? Do we want to see a quote on that before we move over to more additional other than what we have in front of us?
We did get a number, but I don't think we have anything in writing, but we got just a quick number, right?
I'm good either way. We could either approve this and approve the roof pending, or not to exceed.
Or I was gonna say, not to exceed so much. So we could, you had another, two little things, they got to exceed 13,000. So that would give you a rough number there.
It'd be
19,000, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't have the next book, did I?
What's your input on this, Mayor?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask.
That's what I figured.
Heather sent me a text asking about this, and I instantly sent her to Josh. I think it's a big benefit to the city of Rensselaer to continue to improve some of the things that we have. And we did take some budgeted funds that we had for building improvements, put a new roof on the swim pool, put a new roof on the Gifford shelter, put a beautiful new office into the old light plant. So we are using some of those funds, and I think she's just a little bit nervous being in her first year, trying to make these improvements to our bathroom that do fit in our TIF district, correct, Josh?
Yep, Brookside's on it.
So I told her I would definitely support something like this. You hit the nail on the head, Jeff. One of the first things that I tried to do coming in was improve what we have in the parks. So we go out and we hire Brown's Garden to start taking care of the ball fields that we have now. So we're not having somebody come up to us and say, your ball fields look terrible, and that's why people don't want to come and play here. So when you get to see all those numbers of teams coming in there, it's interesting to see how they go to Royal Oak. It's interesting how many of them are going to Walmart. It's very interesting to see how well I think this can be. But we have to increase our expectation of what we have now. So that fits right in line with supporting Heather's request. So thank you for that input. That was definitely what I wanted to hear. So did I answer it without answering it?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah,
Motion?
let's get a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve funding for these improvements and a roof, not to exceed 20.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Okay. Bryce already talked with us about the.
Well, we just gotta ratify that poll.
Oh, we just gotta ratify that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we just need a vote on it then.
Yeah, motion.
Motion vote.
Yes.
Yeah, what?
The sewer project
Oh, okay.
that they took the vote on. So can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Baker Tilly's annual report. Do you want to talk with us about that a little bit, Josh?
Yeah, so this is just a April 15th report that's required every year. You guys are just accepting it, and this is going to be, this has already been forwarded to both the council and mayor, but they also have to accept it to review it. It's basically just an overview of what you guys did last year, a review of TIF areas, how much you spent in each separate TIF area. The only thing of note that we kind of changed up from last year is if you look on the balances at the end there, we did create a separate allocation fund for the Littner area before it was combined into one. It combined with the Drexel area, so we separated those out now. So there's not a whole lot to ours. We did have the housing here, but as I was new last year, we don't have anything to report on that. So.
We just need to approve that.
Just vote to, motion to accept it.
Motion to accept.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, you want to come up and talk to us about the community arts project?
I would love to. We are working closely with the Jasper County Economic Development folks to continue our mural project throughout the city of Rensselaer. It's slated to begin in July again of this year. One of the things we want to do is improve the Amtrak station with a mural at that location that will be seen by everybody that rides through there. Currently, we're expected to have the Amtrak station paved in the last week of this month or beginning of next month. So once we get those improvements done, along with a little bit of landscaping that we're going to do, we should increase the amount of parking at our Amtrak station. The lighting's already been improved. The handrail's already been improved, and they've also fixed all the concrete that was damaged when we had the last train derail. So those things are going to make a difference, I think, in our city of our size. And then we have to figure out ways to market how people get on the train. Do people know that you can come to Rensselaer, get on the train, and go to Indianapolis or Chicago 3 times a week? So some of those things that we want to try to continue to improve on, as well as keep our mural program going that tell people Rensselaer is a place to stop and see some nice art. So what we're going to ask is up to $25,000. Again, our artist seems to be a little slippery on the amount that they're going to need to get done with not just the mural there at the Amtrak, but also behind Phillips Park, so we can make that a little more attractive, and then hopefully continue to try to rent a lot of the Phillips Park stuff out for venues of all kinds of type. There was one other building we're kind of in negotiation with that they're going to also try to do, and then the request from the Jasper Foundation to touch up the wall along the river. So a lot of it depends on how much we can get done with background, and we're going to paint the gas department prior to putting mural on it. So it'll depend on how much we can get done with the background on there. If we can find somebody has a cherry picker that we can rent for a very reasonable price. But I think if we get up to $25,000, the Tourism Bureau will match our amount for a total of $50,000 for them to continue our mural program. It's just what we can try to do ourselves, what we can try to rent, what we can try to stretch our dollar for the most. So somewhere right now it's between $40,000 and $45,000. So if we get up to $25,000 from redevelopment, we'll continue that program. So
Educate me a little bit. So the stuff that we've done over the last several years, is that all funded by us or grants or do the building owners pay for any of that?
most of it has been funded by the city. I think some is funded by the building owners. You'll see the one that's on the back of Heath Malone's building. I believe he funded that one.
Okay.
So some of it the building owners have paid for. Some of it has been mostly funded by the city's redevelopment commission, from my experience being told, along with the Tourism Bureau.
Okay.
So the tourism now came up with a grant system so we can pin down people that want to do these murals on the exact amount of what we're going to charge. Again, it gets to be a slippery slope when we're trying to figure out what can we do to help them on a background. They want a solid base background, like either dark blue or black background, and then they'll paint the rest of it at a certain level. We may be able to get away with some of that stuff like at the gas department because we were planning on painting it anyway. So, yes, the redevelopment commission, from my experience, has done the majority of it.
Well, I think these last couple of years, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, the last year with the water tower, and then there was the grant before that. I don't know exactly
The
what.
back of this one and
Something like that. But it has just been a couple of years that you guys have amended your thing to be able to do this.
We also talked maybe about this same time last year, but there was talk at one point of trying to do something to better preserve the ones that are already done so they don't deteriorate and start to look not as nice as they do now.
That's in the painter's price. So they have a coating that goes over the top that helps seal it, and hopefully it makes it last a little bit longer than what it does out in the weather. So I can get you guys that information from the painter also to have a look at it. It's just, there's a little bit of wiggle room one way or another if we can find like, maybe Pat Stanky will help me with a cherry picker or something along those lines. So we're gonna try to find what we can, that's free compared to renting something. Free's good.
I'm surprised the city doesn't have a cherry picker.
Us too. We have this thing called a bucket truck, but I'm not sure that would be, be a little cautious on that one, but we may have to pick up some liability insurance or something if they were to use Pat's cherry picker, but I think that's why he's rented it out in the past before, so he's not responsible for it. McKinley House, last one I knew that he rented it out too. So, which looks very nice. All right.
We haven't put anything into this project for, last year was just the water tower, right? That was all that we did on that.
Water tower, 35.
Our part of the water tower is 30.
Let's look here, see what it says.
I was thinking it was,
I don't remember for sure.
25.
Oh, that's 25.
25.
do we have any other discussion about it, guys? It's a cool program that brings people into town, it makes people, it makes the community look better. We'll make a motion to, do we want to do a full 25? Do we want to do, I guess at this point we don't have to do a full 25, do we? Or do we want to?
Well, otherwise they're just gonna come back.
Yeah. Okay. So we want to make a
They'll
motion.
make a motion that we do $25,000
Community arts project.
for the community arts project.
That 25 maximizes the match.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we get a second. All in favor?
Thanks.
Okay,
Thank you, board.
thank you. Now I guess our last bit is we need to determine a time for an executive session.
Yeah, I spoke with Matt, and he said early's on Monday is tough for him, but any other time he should be able to get to work. If it's an evening one, but
You say he's still gonna be after 5 o'clock, I'm assuming,
yeah,
anytime in the week, during the week.
yeah, probably, yeah, but
Jeff, you come from the farthest.
yeah.
5 or after is fine for me. Actually, I could do 4:30 if we had to,
Okay.
but doesn't matter other than that to me.
So day a week, we wanna do it. How soon do we need to, you wanna look at this, Josh?
Sooner the better. I mean, I don't know, Mayor, is your schedule?
Yeah, schedule's kind of rough in April, but the sooner we can get to this, the better. Obviously, we want to get that building knocked down as soon as we can. And again, it's going to fit probably Bryce's schedule,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how that works.
I can do next Monday.
We do next Monday? Next Monday, 5 o'clock?
That would be, we have a half hour, because we have the board work at 5:30, right? So,
It shouldn't take long.
yeah, that should be, probably we can get it done, yeah.
Okay, are you okay with it? Is that all right with you, Bob?
Do you want to a half hour earlier?
I can do a half hour earlier, is,
Matt probably would.
Matt, well,
Yeah.
Matt, Mondays are hard for Matt. Would it be better to do Tuesday instead?
I could do next Tuesday. I can't do this Tuesday, but I could do next.
So I could be, tax day.
Oh, why'd you say that? Ouch.
Yeah. I could do next
I did mine
Tuesday.
last night, I already got the electricity bill.
Next Tuesday might be a problem for me. Just do it Monday.
Monday at 5?
Yep, let's do Monday 5.
Okay.
So we should be able to knock it out pretty quick, I think.
Maybe 13th.
14th.
14th.
14th at 5.
Monday, yeah, yeah.
Krista, you're gonna remind us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. All right.
Let's get a motion to vote on that.
Okay, I'll make a motion for an executive meeting Monday, the 14th at 5 o'clock. Can we get a second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. I don't think we've got anything else on here, Josh?
One more.
One more? Oh, one more.
If it's under public comment, I'd like to make a public comment.
Okay.
Senate Bill 1, as it is now in the House, would not be very good for the Redevelopment Commission if it were to pass as it is. I've seen two or three things from different accounting firms. We use Baker Tilly. I think Reedy Financial was the other one that I've seen some of the financials on this bill. I'm not sure what we were trying to do here with relieving property tax, but it doesn't seem like it's going to help the common homeowner to help him with his property taxes at all. But yet, it's going to turn around and hurt a city of our size significantly. Some of the last ones I got from Baker Tilly was around $330,000 out of our budget. And that's a big chunk of money for a city of our size. The other part is it seems to be also targeting some of our schools. And Jan's still here. I thought the one I saw from one of the accounting firms said that it would hurt the schools about $1 million also.
For a 3-year period.
Over a 3-year period. So personal property tax looks like they were trying to cut that out, which would hurt a city of our size if they were to do something like that. So if you feel the need to contact your state legislator, I would appreciate it. I can remember in 2008 when we shifted and capped property tax. I was a police chief at the time. You can only imagine how uneasy I felt at that point. But we were saved by a county council that had the guts to step up and increase that local option income tax to the maximum that it was, and it lessened the severity of that property tax cut in 2008. There's nothing that they seem to be helping us with by saying, hey, we're going to help cut property taxes of people, but they didn't give the cities, towns, or schools any other way to increase revenue that would make up that difference. So we're getting the last stages of this session, and it's obviously got that people down at our accelerated Indiana municipalities nervous. Used to be Indiana cities and towns, but it's now called AIM, and where they're asking us to talk to our legislators. And I did just talk to one of them, and they said there are going to be some amendments to that bill, but on Wednesday, but it's still a little nerve-wracking. So any help that we can get would be appreciated.
It seems like the timing's pretty poor with possible tariffs and everything else coming in. What kind of a repercussion is it that somebody's going to have just off of that? I mean, of all timing to try to cut you guys back.
Yeah, we might get cut back anyway if we have a downturn in the market as significant as some. We had some financial experts come to talk to us at the IMPA meeting on Thursday, and they were pretty doom and gloom. I don't know how else to say it. I know I talked to Josh a little bit beforehand, but on the federal side of things, if the tariff doesn't work and it increases inflation, yeah, we could be in trouble with the Senate Bill 1 added on top of that. Just want to make sure you're kept in the loop.
Kendall the best one to get in touch with?
He's the one that said he'll try to make some amendments to it on Wednesday. He just texted me back and said he's planning on making some amendments to it then. At one point, you think you've got it addressed. State Senator Niemeyer was one of them I talked to, who I think has most of the city in his area. He thought there was going to be some more changes on both sides prior to getting any kind of vote. So we'll see. They're obviously gotten to the point where they've gotten the attention of all the cities and towns in the state.
We have anything else for tonight?
The thing that keeps popping into my head is we have a noticeable empty seat. Mr. Schenk. I think every meeting since I've been on this board, he's been here. So,
Yep.
I think that's a bigger loss to the community than we realize sometimes.
And I commend both Heather and Councilman Rayburn for moving quickly. Did you make it, Kevin, to Friday? Yeah, Friday? Thursday. I was out of town on Thursday, but the idea was to get a bike rack in Bob's name since he rode his bike to everything. I was going to the commissioners meeting this morning, and I typically see riding that bike, even in weather like this. And again, you're right, it's a noticeable miss that you just don't see it anymore. But it was nice for them to come up with an idea to recognize Bob in the time where his family was all still here. So it looked like a great picture, and thanks to everybody that helped do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Motion to adjourn?
Do we have a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor? Aye. Have a good night.
So, my question